Have you ever wondered about the most powerful drug trafficking organization in the world? Meet the Sinaloa Cartel. This fearsome entity was born in Mexico's Sinaloa region in the late 1980s. Their rise was swift and merciless, starting as a plaza under the Guadalajara Cartel. Today, the Sinaloa Cartel has become a formidable power that reaches far beyond its base in Culiacan. Its operations extend throughout Mexico, including Baja California, Durango, Sonora, and Chihuahua. But their influence doesn't end at Mexico's borders. The Sinaloa Cartel has established a presence in various Latin American regions and infiltrated numerous U.S. cities. The United States intelligence community recognizes them as the most formidable drug trafficking organization globally. They are not just an illicit entity, they are an international syndicate, specializing in drug trafficking and money laundering. Their power and influence arguably exceed those of Pablo Escobar's notorious Medellin cartel during its heyday in Colombia. The Sinaloa Cartel mainly traffics in illicit substances like cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, fentanyl, and cannabis. Their operations are not just expansive, they are intricate and highly organized. They operate a network that competes with those of legitimate multinational corporations. In their world, loyalty is purchased, power is grabbed, and human life holds little value. The Sinaloa Cartel's influence extends beyond Mexico, reaching into Latin America and infiltrating numerous U.S. cities. The Sinaloa Cartel represents the unseen power driving the global drug trade, a force that persistently shapes, disrupts, and challenges the world as we know it. The roots of the Sinaloa Cartel trace back to a pioneer drug lord, Pedro Aviles Perez. In the late 1960s, Aviles Perez carved out his presence in the Mexican state of Sinaloa, blazing a trail for the future of large-scale Mexican drug trafficking. A visionary, he introduced a novel idea: using aircraft for smuggling drugs into the United States. This method, revolutionary at the time, became an incredibly effective technique for drug distribution, transforming the way the industry operated. Pedro Aviles Perez was more than just a drug lord, he was an educator in his own right. His innovative tactics and strategies were meticulously studied and adopted by the next generation of Sinaloan traffickers, ensuring his influence persisted long after his demise. Among the individuals who carried his legacy forward were influential figures like Rafael Caro Quintero, Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo, and Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo. Each of these individuals proclaimed that their understanding of the complex underworld of narco-traficantes was shaped under the guidance of Aviles Perez's organization. One standout protege of Perez was his own nephew, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Propelled by his uncle's teachings, he went on to become one of most notorious drug lords in history. Another was Ismael Zambada Garcia, the current leader of the Sinaloa Cartel. Their operations and strategies bear the indelible imprint of Perez's pioneering contributions to drug trafficking. Pedro Aviles Perez's reign was brought to a halt in a confrontation with federal police in September 1978 in Sinaloa, marking the end of his formidable era. However, his absence did not lead to the collapse of the organization he had built. Contrarily, it evolved and strengthened, eventually metamorphosing into the infamous Sinaloa Cartel, becoming a force to be reckoned with in the international drug trafficking arena. By laying the groundwork for the rise of the Sinaloa Cartel, Pedro Aviles Perez's legacy continues to cast a long shadow over the world of organized crime. Pedro Aviles Perez's legacy set the stage for the rise of the Sinaloa Cartel, a force that would soon dominate the international drug trafficking scene. By 2005, the Sinaloa Cartel had eliminated all competition across the Arizona border. This significant event marked the start of the cartel's unchallenged dominance. The Sinaloa Cartel's rule was not only in Arizona or the United States, but their influence extended globally, making them a potent force in international drug trade. Other cartels like the Milenio, Jalisco, Sonora, and Colima cartels became extensions of the Sinaloa Cartel. Previously, they held territories and executed operations independently, but under the Sinaloa Cartel, they were absorbed, their operations integrated into the larger, stronger organization. The Sinaloa Cartel's supremacy extended beyond controlling drug trafficking routes. Their influence penetrated the world of international finance. Through their elaborate network, they money globally, with HSBC, a British bank, becoming a primary channel for their illicit funds. This vast money laundering operation effectively transformed dirty money into clean, usable assets, further propelling the cartel's activities. They didn't just operate behind the scenes, they infiltrated legal systems, manipulating them to their advantage. Their influence permeated not only the underworld, but also the realms of high finance and international banking. They had transitioned from being a mere criminal organization to a powerful, albeit illicit, global entity. The Sinaloa Cartel's reign demonstrated ruthless efficiency, an extensive network of influence, and a remarkable ability to adapt. They a central part of the global drug trade, their operations extending well beyond Mexico or the US. Their rule represented the evolution of drug cartels from mere criminal gangs into sophisticated, globally linked entities. The Sinaloa Cartel's control over drug was unrivaled, their operation extending across borders and into the world of international finance. In the illicit drug trade, the Sinaloa Cartel was king. With power comes violence, and the Sinaloa Cartel is no exception. In the underworld of narcotics trade, the equation of power often equates to dread, and the Sinaloa Cartel had become proficient at brandishing both with lethal precision. Back in the year 2008, the organization allegedly splintered into various battling factions. The internal discord triggered an upswing in drug-related violence throughout Mexico, transforming the nation into a conflict zone. Streets resonated with the discord and bloodbath as the cartel members strived for supremacy, each faction keen to demonstrate its dominance over the others. It was a chilling sight, a lethal ballet orchestrated to the rhythm of power struggles and territorial conflicts. However, the violence wasn't limited to their in-house squabbles. It was the cartel's communication method, their ominous warning to the opponent gangs. The message delivered by the Sinaloa Cartel was straightforward yet ruthless. Cross our path, and you shall pay dearly. They ensured that this message was understood in its entirety, not just heard. Their tactics were horrifying, devised to fuel terror. Homicides executed by the cartel were frequently accompanied by dreadful acts of savagery. Decapitations were not unusual, and there were instances of bodies being dissolved in vats of alkaline substances. These brutalities were sometimes recorded and uploaded on the internet, serving as a grim warning for anyone who dared to challenge the cartel's rule. The cartel's power was established on the pillars of fear and violence. They governed through intimidation, and their reign was characterized by a blood-soaked path of turmoil devastation. The sinister aspect of their power was a petrifying reality, a bloody price that was paid by those who resisted them, and innocent civilians who were unfortunately caught in the gunfire. To summarize, the Sinaloa Cartel's power brought along a significant amount of violence. The rule of this organization was a terrifying reality, with a bloody price paid by their adversaries and even innocent individuals who were in their conflicts. The power of the Sinaloa Cartel came with a bloody price, leaving a trail of violence and fear in its wake. Behind the scenes of the Sinaloa Cartel's operations were key figures like Vicente Zambada Niebla, known as El Vicentillo. Vicente was the son of Ismael Zambada Garcia, a prominent leader of the cartel. As a critical member, he was instrumental in managing the cartel's drug trafficking ventures. His authority was overseeing massive cocaine consignments from Central and South America, through Mexico, and eventually into the United States. This massive operation was not simple. It required use of every possible means of transport. Imagine a Boeing 747 cargo packed to its maximum capacity with illicit substances. That was merely a small part of Vicente's transport arsenal. He employed a variety of vehicles, including narco-submarines, container ships, speedboats, fishing vessels, buses, rail cars, tractor-trailers, and cars. His distribution network wasn't only vast, it was audacious. It beautifully exhibited the scale and reach of the Sinaloa Cartel's operations. However, as it's often the case with empires built on illegal activities, Vicente's reign wasn't destined to last. In March of 2009, his reign ended abruptly, with his arrest by the Mexican army. A year later he was extradited, severing his direct ties with the organization he once held sway over. The arrest and subsequent extradition of Vicente dealt a severe blow to the operations of the Sinaloa Cartel. However, it wasn't sufficient to completely dismantle the organization. Despite losing key players like Vicente, the cartel persevered. Its influence remains far-reaching even today, a testament to the profound roots it has developed over the years, and the intricate network of power it has woven. Despite the arrests and extraditions, the Sinaloa Cartel continues to operate, a testament to its deep roots, and the complex web of power and influence it has managed to weave over the years.